I've been speaking a lot lately about regional Victoria, and I think it's worth making the point again because I think regional Victoria is one of the outstanding property markets in Australia right now. It's a national leader on price growth in the last 12 months, and it's also right up there with the best in the nation on long-term capital growth rates. Many locations in regional Victoria have long-term capital growth rates of 6, 7, 8% a year, which competes with some of the very best in the big cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Regional Victoria also features prominently in the latest edition of the Pain and Gain report by CoreLogic, which shows that the vast majority of regional Victorian properties sold in the September quarter of 2019 made a profit for the vendors. Strongly performing markets are spread right across regional Victoria, underpinned by a very strong state economy and nation-leading property growth. And regional Victoria has the lowest unemployment rate anywhere in regional Australia. Now, recently we published the new 2020 edition of Top 5 Regional Victorian Hotspots. And if everyone interested in property investment had all the latest data on price performance and economic growth, then this report, Top 5 Regional Victorian Hotspots, would be our best-selling report. And I'm going to speak today about one of the locations that's featured in this new 2020 edition of the report, because it's the kind of market that many investors would never consider, but it does illustrate why good regional centres offer a win-win-win situation for property investors. The first win is very affordable prices, particularly compared to the capital cities. The second win is much higher rental yields than you get in the capital cities. And the third win is good prospects for capital growth if you pick your locations correctly. So I want to talk about Portland, which illustrates well just how much the growth in Victoria has spread right across the state, emanating from Melbourne initially to places like Geelong, Ballarat and Bendigo, but it's now spread far and wide to the most distant parts of the state. And Portland's a long way from Melbourne. It's 360 kilometres to the west, out near the border with South Australia. But it's a very noteworthy property market, as all the statistics show. Its vacancy rate is one of the lowest in Australia. It's just 0.6% at the moment. And as a result of that, rents have risen 11% in the past 12 months. And as a result of that, typical rental yields in Portland property for houses are above 6%. And its median house price has jumped 12% in the last 12 months, but remains very affordable at $260,000 for typical houses in Portland. You can buy units there for less than $200,000, despite the fact that the median unit price has risen more than 20% in the past year, and yields on new units are typically around 7%. So clearly something's happening in the regional centre of Portland, but why is it doing so well? Well, Portland, just by way of background, is a town of about 10,000 people. It's the capital of Canal Shire, and it's a very important export port. Indeed, it's one of Victoria's 4 main trading ports. Lots of products are exported from Portland, including forestry products, grain, mineral sands, and it's the largest hardwood chip exporter anywhere in the world. And it's also, on top of that, a very important fishing port. Now, Portland is a regional steel town, and it's got great amenities and services, schools, hospitals, retail, and it's in particular boosted by tourism. Indeed, it thrives on tourism, and its proximity to key attractions like the 12 Apostles and the Coonawarra Wine District, which is just across the border in South Australia, makes it a regular stopover for cruise ships in the Port of Portland. The biggest employers include the port itself, very big aluminium smelter that's in Portland, and the timber industry, as well as Keppel Prince Engineering, which makes wind turbines for one of the nation's fastest growing and most important industry, wind farms, which are a big industry now in this region and across regional Victoria generally. There's a lot coming up in the future to make this important regional centre even more so. The state government spending about $100 million to upgrade key arterial roads in the areas around Portland. A business called Yamba Aquaculture is planning a major abalone farm costing $73 million, which will create hundreds of jobs, and that ongoing investment in wind farms in regional Victoria, which I mentioned a moment ago, with a lot of it in the region very close to Portland, means billions of dollars in new investment and lots of new jobs coming into the area. There are, in fact, right now 3 big ones totaling 1.1 billion, which are now under construction in Western Victoria, and an even larger one, which alone is worth 1 billion, is in planning for the region. So there's lots of economic activity with jobs being created, making Portland a regional town with importance that goes way beyond its size, remembering that its population is just 10,000 people. And its property market offers affordability, high rental yields, and vacancies that are very, very low. And if the past 12 months are anything to go by, great prospects for capital growth. So with examples like that, it's absolutely clear to me that regional Victoria continues to be one of the #1 growth markets in Australia, but pretty much an unsung hero of Australian real estate. And a classic example of the win-win-win situation provided by markets outside of the bigger cities. And I'll repeat them again: win 1, cheaper prices; win 2, high rental yields; and win 3, great potential for sustained capital growth if you buy in the right places. And how do you make sure you buy in the right places? Well, when it comes to regional Victoria, get the new 2020 edition of our top 5 regional hotspots report. It features 5 locations, one of which is Portland, which we think have great potential to provide that win-win-win situation. I'm Terry Ryder, founder of hotspotting.com.au. Let's talk again soon.